Right, good afternoon and welcome to another session right here on OY Media Scotland. It's our session, and that's the session that you already know. Right. Remember those on our consciousness, we bring in guests, there are times we call it personality interview. And the person we'll be having today, if you've been following us on Facebook, you will know that we are having El Grace. El Grace today, that is Grace Oluwadiya. She will be talking more to us about our music, our career, and other things that we need to know as someone who is a model to, that could be a model to our children as well. So we'll be having El Grace. Right, El Grace.
Hello, sir.
Hello, and hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Oh, good evening. How are you, sir?
Yes, it's evening at our hand. El Grace is in United States, which is about 6 hours away from where we are here in the United Kingdom. Now, the question people have asked is El Grace. How come about El Grace? That doesn't sound like an African name, is it?
Not at all.
All right, so fire on. How come?
Quite a number of people have asked the same question. Some people don't even think I'm Nigerian, but I'm a Yoruba girl. The name
Good.
El Grace came from my name is Grace. My first name is Grace. And when I was putting my name together, I wanted to make it God's grace or by God's. I just wanted to something that would show that everything I am and everything I do is by God's grace. So then I came up with the name El's Grace, which is God's grace. However, if I tell people I'm El's Grace, people might start calling me hell, as in hell. So I didn't want that. That's why I put it as El Grace. That would do.
Oh, okay, that's great. That's brilliant. And then let's fire on. You said you are from Nigeria. You are a Yoruba girl. From where particularly in Nigeria?
Ekiti State.
And I'm going to give you a test as well. So
okay.
That's why I want to mention the test before you mention where you come from, because you are going to speak the dialect, you know.
I can speak quite a number of dialects in Nigeria. I'm good.
Okay, so the ground is yours. Where are you from? How was your growing up? And you can throw us the dialect from that area.
Okay, so I'm from Ekiti State. I grew up in Ado Ekiti. I wasn't born in Nigeria actually, but I grew up in Ado Ekiti. I attended primary school, secondary school, university in Nigeria before I came back to the States to continue my school. So, yeah.
Right. So, the test. We are waiting.
No, you tell me what you want me to say, and I'll say it. I can try.
Okay. How are you today? Could we have that one in Ekiti?
Báwo lọ́ra rẹ lóní?
Ara lè wájà. Uh,
Yes, no, I actually learned to speak Ekiti in the States. I didn't learn it in
oh,
Nigeria.
really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
didn't learn
okay.
it in Nigeria. I learned to speak it here in the States.
So is that through your parents or people that are living around you?
Well, it wasn't about that because when I live here, at least the first few years I was here, I was only living with my brother. But there were times we go out, we didn't want people to understand what we were saying or want to talk on the phone. We didn't want people to understand what we were saying. So we started bringing it out of nowhere. So we started bringing it out of the bank of what we've heard when we were growing up. So little by
Okay.
little, we started saying it, and I that's how I learned it.
Okay, that's great. Um, Health Grace,
Sorry.
there are quite lots of things here, and some people might say, "Oh, is she a super woman?" Because you are a music minister,
By the grace of God.
an architect, and then a registered nurse. I mean, those um, professions, they are not like people will say back home. They will say, "No, no be beef." Those professions are high class professions. So, how have you been able to manage all this?
So, well, God, first of all glory to God. It's not, I'm, it's not easy, doing everything I do with family and stuff. However, with architecture, that was what I studied. Because growing up in Africa, you cannot just tell your parents some things. You cannot tell them you want to do your own thing. Sometimes they look at you
Yeah.
like that doesn't listen. And my father was an architect, and he got me a drawing board since I was like maybe like 4 or 5 years old. So I
Mm.
went to architecture, and but deep down, I really wanted to be a nurse. I didn't become a nurse because I came to the States. No, I deep down, I really wanted to take care of people. I started reading medical books since I was a kid. I knew so many symptoms and their diagnosis off my memory as a little girl that nobody knew. It was just my own secret passion. So when I got here and I got the opportunity to, I decided to. So when it comes to architecture, I don't practice architecture all the time except when I have to. But for my way, in my own way to keep myself informed. I still follow up with stuff. I still design. I still sketch. I still do my own little drawings. So I think I just got over that. I could be in church when I was young, a little younger than that. I won't do that now. I'll be in church listening in church and I'll be busy designing and sketching buildings. You see the
Okay.
back of my Bible. But nowadays, how I juggle stuff is, I don't do architecture all the time, only when I literally have to. But more, what I focus more these days is my nursing and my music career, and my family, of course.
Okay, great. Let's you see when you look at music and you look at architecture, I think we can actually relate the creativity between those two. Now, in your own view, how does that creativity relate to nursing?
Okay, if I'm getting your question, no, ask the question one more time, sir.
Now, what I'm saying is that creativity, when you talk about architecture, it's about creativity.
Yes,
When you also talk about music, it's also creativity.
yes.
So now coming into the medical profession as a registered nurse, um, how can you connect the creativity from
With
those
what
two?
I do.
How does it flow into the nursing sector? Because I think I've read some of your posts in the past that you say there are times maybe you sing during the time of your work, and also and
Yeah,
it blesses people.
yeah.
So
So, first of all, I would say creativity in music and creativity in architecture. You have a creative mind in order to be able to create something. And
yes,
where both of it merges together is, I look at architecture as, even though I'll bring architecture as a mess. I won't call it a message, but I'll call it a message again. It's like a picture, the picture of what you have in your brain.
Yoruba,
You're
yeah,
bringing to line, you're bringing it to life, but you're actually doing it conforming to what your customer wants, right? In
sure.
music, it's a message that God placed in your heart or in your spirit that you're bringing to life, but you're actually conforming it to what will be pleasing to the ear, what people will hear and they will love. That's creativity on those two sides. The difference with music and architecture is even in both, it's the same thing. When you finish designing your building, then you give the other building team, the quantity surveyor and all of that, the people doing the construction, you give all of them the chance to bring out their own thing too, but it has to be in
Yes.
line, bring out their own creativity and their craft, but it has to be in line with what you have given them. So also my music, by the time I now give it to my producer, I have to I give them chance to explore their own creativity too, but it still has to be in the
Mhm.
confinement of what I've given them to do. So when it comes to nursing, people might look at it that creativity is not in nursing, but I would say to an extent there's a little bit of creativity there because when they teach you the textbook, you know the textbook. Now
Mm.
you now take the textbook, you work with it based on the policies and procedures of the facility, but you have to be creative with what you do. For example, somebody came and just had surgery. The doctor says this person can go ahead and eat. I give the person food, but then I'm getting to this person's room. I can see the person throwing up. Obviously, I'm not going to follow what the doctor is saying anymore. At this point, I'm going to use
Mhm.
my own brain to know that this person cannot eat. So, no food, no drink. Then I can now let the doctor know, okay, sir, this person cannot tolerate food. I'm not giving them food anymore. Then this is where my creativity now comes in. I start trying to figure out what I could do to help the person. Should I give you ice? Should I give you soda, white soda? Should I put one cloth on your face? That's when you start. So one way or the other, all of it. And then when you talk about music, yes, sometimes I use my songs for therapy, even though I don't let them know directly. I do it indirectly because this is my job. I have to be careful. Like I have a patient that is dying or something. I could be humming songs in their room, or somebody that is really sick and lonely. I'll be humming some songs in their room. If they say something that they like it, then I go ahead and share it with them. But if they don't say anything, I just let it be and let it be soothing to them. And when I'm done, I'll leave. Or I could bring out a phone on the TV, look for music channels and play. You understand? I don't. I hope I answered your question, sir.
Yes, yes, I do. I do. And the where I'm coming from that angle is
Mm-hmm.
that there's a general perception that no knowledge is lost.
Mm-hmm.
So even when people are not in their, maybe they've studied in one area, and that's I think maybe that's one of the few things we can understand about education, especially in the Western world, where the fact that you've gone through a particular course or subjects and you're able to go through to intellectually to deal with it, it's believed that you have transferable skills that you can take from that wherever they put you, you'll be able to apply those things. So that's the angle I was coming to, which I think you've actually answered very well. Now
Thank
let's
you.
get to your music. So who is or was the musician in the family before you picked it up?
I would say both of my parents sing a lot, but my father was more into music. He used to play the trombone, and he loved to sing. Oh my Lord! So I know a lot of hymns, and that's because my father. Because he will play, he will sit me down, we'll sing together all through. There wasn't any professional musician in my family, but my father loved music a lot. And he would always play music to me. And he bought me my violin when I was 2 and registered me in violin school. So that's
Oh,
how I started.
okay. Right. This is Let Your Fire Fall.
Let your fire fall. Empty myself in your presence, Holy Spirit. Have your way like never before. Anoint me afresh, possess me anew, engulf me totally. Lord, have your way. Your presence is your presence. Have your way like never before. Anoint me afresh. Set me on totally and have your way. Let your fire fall. Let your fire fall. We need your fire. Let your fire fall.
Right. Coming back to your music.
Okay, sir.
When would you consider that you started professional music?
2017.
Okay.
2017 to be precise. I started writing my songs like around 2014, and I started like recording really 2017. But I've been singing, like invited to functions to sing and all of that all before that.
Right. So by your own check, like how many albums do you have now?
I have one album and I have two other songs outside that album. My latest releases that I did this year, that I did the videos. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have one album that has 12 songs. Then I have two other songs that is not on that album, that is just recorded as video on YouTube.
Okay, great. Then I know most musicians, I don't know whether it works for architects as well. Interestingly, obviously, I studied the same course as well. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, architecture, and I practice I'm still practicing.
oh,
Um,
that's nice.
so, but there's this question, and I've had many people being asked, especially artists and musicians. If you look at all your music, I know that you love all of them. Obviously, they are yours. You've put energy, you've sacrificed, you've put in your best to all of them. Which one will you pick first?
I usually, I think I really have a soft spot for my first ever release. And even though it was my first ever release, my first ever recording, no, it was my second recording. It's You Are Beautiful. I
Okay, you
haven't
are
done the
beautiful.
video yet. I'm still gonna
That.
do it. I said I've not done the video yet. I'm still gonna do it, but I like that song a lot.
Okay, I mean that's a great one. There's one that I want to ask as well. That you see with your songs, I think I've picked maybe either from three albums and co where your lyrics are both in English and Yoruba. Was that intentional right
Yeah.
from the start, or you picked this one along the way?
You mean that by putting English and Yoruba together?
Together, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm still looking forward to a time where I'll be able to write just pure Yoruba song.
Okay. So it's right from the start when you were setting out that you know that, yes, I'm going into professional music, that my music is going to be the combination of English and Yoruba.
Yes, sir.
Right. So what's the reason?
Because I want to appeal to all audiences. I don't want to leave Nigeria out of my music. I don't want to leave America out of my music. Some things you can bring across in English, but some things are better expressed when it comes to God in Yoruba. So, and when I'm writing my song, I just leave my spirit open to whatever lyrics God gives me. So if it comes in English or if it comes in Yoruba, I just I piece it together just as my spirit gives it to me.
Okay. And then I think this is the latest. That is Agbanilagbaton.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Lift your hands. Let us worship. I present to you today the total deliverer. Agbanilagbaton, awonilawotan, dependable Father, alágbára. Agbanilagbaton, awonilawotan, dependable Father, alágbára.
Right. Trying to get us back into that. Right. Your songs, especially these, I'm just trying to get into your brain, if it's possible, or your spirit, if it's possible. One minute. So trying to get into your head, if it's possible, your lyrics or your song, is this particular to you? Is it a sort of a testimony of to yourself or of yourself, or is just generic?
You know, I the way I write my songs, it depends on what I'm writing my song for. Some of my songs are testimonies, like this particular one. You know, after the whole COVID situation, though COVID has started again, but with the way the COVID attacked the first time, I didn't have too much of a good. I was a little traumatized from it, working in the healthcare and being the way I work, being a travel nurse, and the hospital that I work at that time, you know, when you work in a place, they give you and you're not their own worker, like you're a contracted worker, expect to have the worst assignments and stuff. So I was basically stationed with COVID patients for a while, and it traumatized me. So after the whole thing, that's why I write this song as a thanksgiving. It's like a testimony that yes, God can totally protect and deliver in no matter what the situation. COVID was like though I walked through the valley of the shadow of death.
Of
That
them,
was
yeah.
the situation. But some of my other songs is not my testimony. They have most of all my songs have a particular message behind them. Like let your
Okay.
fire fall. Some people
Yeah.
think it's about the fire of like when you call fire upon your enemy and stuff. No, 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 no. The fire I'm actually referring to in this song is letting God burn in you. Let the fire of God burn in you.
Well, the Holy
Let the
Spirit.
fire, yes, let the fire, the revival fire, so that we can have the love that we're supposed to have for God. That let that fire burn in us all over again. That's the message. I have one I wrote because of my producer. He was always talking about it. He always told me about how God has been so good to him, how
Right.
God has taken care of him since he was a kid and stuff. Then I wrote since I was born because of him. Since I was born, I have never seen the righteous forsaken, and neither
Yeah.
have I seen his children beg for bread. That's what that song is all about.
Okay. That's great. And this is there's one writer of my story
Yes.
lyrics. Tell us more about that.
So that song, I remember that day I was actually flying from our this. I'm sorry, this sun in my house it keep affecting my picture because it's going down. So
Oh, okay.
I was in the plane that day. I sat down. I was looking at the skies and I was just admiring God's work. And I'm like, you know what? If God can, Genesis chapter 1 said the world was without form, without shape, it had no nothing. It was just empty and
Yes.
spaghetti, I would say. But God brought something. He brought a beautiful world out of that shapeless thing. And if God could do that, then there is no situation that God cannot turn around in somebody's life. That means He can bring beauty out of ashes for everybody. So that's the purpose of that song.
Okay. Right. And that's the song right on here.
Right off
Uh,
my story. Yeah.
All creation, as I behold the wonders of creation, your handiwork reflects in every nation, oh God. My God, your wisdom is beyond comprehension. Oh, you are the architect of all creation. Baba Mimo, the writer of my soul, the writer of my soul, shine on me, glory be so Baba Mimo, the writer of my soul, the writer of my soul, shine on me, glory be so Oh Lord, you are sorrow me down.
right. Coming back to your music and your profession. I mean, the one that you are doing, do they call it 24/7 now, which is actually as a registered nurse, attending to people,
Mhm.
and even in view of, the health challenge that we've had this year, that
Mhm.
is COVID-19. I mean, the nurses and the health workers, they're actually the ones that are at the forefront uh,
Yes.
this challenge to offer help to people. What would you say is the impact of your faith when dealing? Because for we can, I think we could say it clearly that from the beginning of the year up until this time, it's been gloomy, with news of death, of sickness, of austerity. Many countries are entering into recession, economic wise, financial wise, and things like that. But then you are like at the front line, having to take care of patients, obviously at the risk of your own life too. So, but then you've stayed positive. I mean, if people see you, you glow. You've got that comely face, and maybe people will most likely ask again that, are you sure this person is actually working in that sector, which has actually been very pressured this year? So would you say that your faith in God had a serious impact on your outlook about life, especially during this challenging time? And if it is yes, how do you want to encourage others?
Of course it is yes. Because like I said, when the whole corona situation or COVID-19 situation started, it started like a joke and then suddenly it hit hard. Like suddenly it hit hard. I think when that thing hit, what makes it more scary was the fact that it hit so suddenly that most people did not see it coming. Most hospitals were not prepared for what was going to happen. So the government, the CDC, all these people didn't even know what kind of precautions we were supposed to use. So
Sure.
truly, God is the greatest protector. Because then you're on the floor, you see. First of all, the person that has it, especially if they're going to be being on the vent and all of those things, they're supposed to be in a negative prayer room. But then you see them on a regular room with the door open. You don't even know they have COVID. They don't even have testing kits. They don't even have masks for us. They they were not prepared one bit. So you've seen somebody that exhibiting 100% signs of COVID, and the doctors think it's COVID. They don't even notify you that it has to do with COVID, so they don't scare you. You don't have the right mask to use. So it took faith in God to be able to do this. And I always tell people, when you say, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. We say that scripture a lot, but if you don't really go through that situation, you don't know the depth of the meaning of that scripture. COVID-19 was one of those. Those that went through it, that's the scripture. Those that had to take care of people through it, because you're doing it, you don't even see the enemy that is fighting you. You don't know if you breathe it in. You don't know if you touched it or anything. So it was really the grace of God. I kept reading the Bible. I kept praying. I kept quoting scriptures. Everything that anybody brought to me, that okay, do this. No, not anybody, but moms and people who come
Yeah.
with drink water and lemon and ginger and honey, steam your face, which I still do. I still
Mm.
do that I still do that quite often whenever I go to work, because you don't know who has anything. You just walk in the midst of people. So it was really the grace of God. It was really God that helped me through. And that's why I wrote that song, Agbani Lagbaton, because he is a faithful deliverer. He protected me all through. And my word of encouragement for everybody that work in the healthcare is, it's true, it is daunting. Nobody can even pay us for what we do, but
Yeah.
you can only believe and trust in God and know that. Don't let it scare you. I still hear people say up till now that, oh, they can't work with them, they can't work with them. No. What if there was nobody to take care of these people? Will
Mm.
everybody run away? What if everybody runs away? What will happen to them? The
Yeah.
tables could turn tomorrow. So just believe in God. Know the hand of God is protecting you, and do what nothing is a calling. Do what He has called you to do, and leave the rest to Him, and He'll protect you. He's
Okay.
always faithful.
Yeah. You are very right. And obviously, this is another music of yours, and this is We Thank You.
Thank you, oh, Papa. We thank you, oh. We thank you, oh, Papa. We thank you, oh.
Yeah. Where are we? I'm trying to look for us.
You are God. You change it now. I will go my job. You remain the same. No man can question your authority. You are God. You never fail. You are God. You are God. Change it. I will go on. You make us God. No one can question your authority. You are God. You never fail. Jesus, thank you, Abba. Thank you, Lord.
All right. If I ask you that we have other people that may be in your situation, I think in terms, maybe in English term or so, they are called polymath. There are people that are they've got quite lots of talents. They could do many things. Now, at times you read it in the books, but now we've got somebody today who is a gospel minister, can sing, an architect, a registered nurse. Now, what advice would you give maybe other people that have like fused talents like that? Because it could actually confuse some people. We've had people that have like multi-talents and they will get confused. And I think part of what happened is like people trying to look at, okay, I can do three things and cool. Maybe I should just leave two and concentrate on one or things like that. But now here you basically doing like the three together. I know you didn't start the three at the same time, but where you are now, you find your feet in those three sectors. So what advice would you give others who might have these fused talents that are packaged in them, and the way they can deal with it without without confusion?
Uh, I think I think one of the ways to deal with situation to because if care is not taken, sometimes if you do so many things, you end up being jack of all trades, master of none.
Sure.
So the best thing is always set goals.
Mm-hmm.
Always make sure you accomplish one thing before you get on the other. So right now, I'm in school. Actually, for like half of this year, I was in two different schools. I was doing because I like computers a lot. I was doing IT on one side. I was doing
Okay.
my nursing school on one side. I'm working. I'm doing my music. In the midst of that, I've done two videos. I'm working on the third one. I You have to set goals. You have to make sure you accomplish one thing. So for example, I give myself what I do on different days. I
Okay.
have my and I work, of course. So I give myself what I do on different days. And what makes it even worse is I work night shift. So the following day after I work my shifts, then I'm cannot achieve too much. So what I do is I would tell what I would first of all say, place set goals, give yourself days to do stuff, give yourself time, different times to do different things. If you have to write things down, write things. I don't write things down. I just compact my brain. I split my brain into compartments. This
Okay.
one, I think about different things in different sides. I keep two. Oh my lord, my brain I can keep so much in there. So
Maybe that's
just
why. Maybe that's why some people said you're a superwoman.
I don't know about that one, no. But if you have to write it to be able to organize it, write it. I'm a visual learner. I write it in my brain and I can picture it and act on it. So, but make sure you always accomplish one thing. I'm doing my work, I'm doing my school, I'm doing everything, and I'm planning my video. There's time for everything. I could wake up, focus on, okay, let me plan my video right now. I work on that a little bit, then I go do something else. Then I come back again. Okay, what do I want to do again? Okay, let me work on my schoolwork a little bit. Okay, let me go cook. Okay, let me go clean up. Let me go do this. So, but if you don't finish one thing, you're not going to finish anything.
Anything at
You
all.
just keep going round in circles. You have to be very good in time management and you have to be very good in prioritizing. Do
Yeah.
what you need to do at that time. Oh no,
Yeah.
do the most important ones first.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Welcome.
coming on the program with us. I know that you have um, great presence on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know where the other ones. and you want people to be able to follow you, to enjoy your music, and also when you bring products out, you also want to get since I mean you brought it out for the people. I know you always like to receive feedback. So if you want to go ahead and tell the people how to reach you, how to contact you, whether they want to invite you for any session, or they just want to follow you, and or they just even want to review your music and give you feedback. What's the best details? What are the best contact details?
My handles are the same almost everywhere. L Grace Music. My Instagram, L Grace Music, as in Z, Muzik, Muzik. L Grace Music official on Instagram, L Grace Music on Facebook, L Grace Music on Twitter, on YouTube, L Grace Music TV. And I'm just gonna say, watch out for for my video. We thank you. Official video coming out very soon. I'm working on it already by God's grace. Hopefully
Amen.
first week in January.
Okay, thank you very much. And you are based in the United States, if I'm right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and also you've not forgotten home. I
Not
mean,
at all.
obviously you can speak Ekiti. You can
Benny, sir.
so we believe that you've not forgotten home. So thank you very much.
Thank
We
you, sir.
appreciate you
Thank you very much, sir.
with us, and please keep us in the loop when the video is out. Please let us know. I mean, I know personally I follow you on your handles. So, but in case we miss out anything, please do get in touch when you've released any of your albums or the video.
No
Please let me
problem,
know,
sir.
and we will do a sort of a follow up.
No
So,
problem, sir.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're coming to speak with us today, and we will get right back to you at some point in the future.
No problem,
So,
sir.
thank you very much.
Have a good rest of your evening, sir.
You too. Thank you
Yes,
very
sir.
much. We appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
And that is bye for now.
Josh,